This is your last call for My Wife the Dietitian. The show is just about to start.
Come on, let's go. Hurry up.
I'm trying. I can't get my shoe on.
Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian, a fun weekly podcast about nutrition and healthy lifestyle. I'm Rob, and together with my wife Sandra, we invite you to join us on this informative and entertaining journey through the complex world of healthy eating.
Join us each week as we strive to help you with transforming your overall health and relationship with food through up-to-date, evidence-based nutrition information. I'm not a morning person. I don't eat breakfast. I'm never hungry in the morning. I don't eat before noon. I've tried every diet under the sun. I'm intermittent fasting. Do any of these phrases resonate with you? Or have you been saying them to yourself, family, or friends for years as you continue with restricting your diet, eating less, and wondering why you don't lose weight? Is intermittent fasting a good strategy for weight loss? Maybe if you're a man, but probably not if you're a woman. Tune in to hear the differences between men and women when it comes to intermittent fasting.
Welcome to My Wife the Dietitian.
Hello, Rob.
Oh, hello,
That's different,
Sandra. We say the same thing every week. I thought we'd see if we can change it up, and you just jumped right in there with that little switcheroo.
Yeah. We're going to interview me.
I'm going to interview you.
Yeah.
We're going to interview me today. We got a big guest star on the show today. It's me. You're funny.
Well, it was because I was ranting the other day.
Were you ranting? Again? What were you ranting about this time? Cheese? You were, oh, I know what we're talking about. We've got a lot of topics we're going to be talking about, so I never, there could be one of 3 or 4 right now that we've been discussing. So which one is it again?
Yeah, I want to talk about something that's kind of been driving me crazy lately because I've been seeing client after client after client who wants to lose weight before, I guess before starting the new year or something.
Yeah,
or through
Christmas is the craziest deadline.
Yeah.
I don't know why Christmas is a deadline for people, but it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And then obviously January 1st is like the biggest starting gun of the year. It's, got to start. Well, I'll wait till January 1st to start. And anyway, yeah. So yeah, people are wanting to lose weight or lose weight before they think they're going to gain weight over Christmas. So they want to lose weight first. And it's all just so weird and yo-yo and upside down. And
I know. And I feel like intermittent fasting is an excuse to skip breakfast. And I saw a poster or saw something recently and I'm like, yes, that is so true.
It kind of is, isn't it? Yeah. It's like, oh, it's good for me to skip a meal. It's that mentality, right?
Pretty much, I would say 100% of my clients in the last 3 weeks, they have come for weight loss, like they want to lose weight. And guess what? Every single one of them doesn't eat breakfast, doesn't eat until about noon.
And the new intermittent fasting trend kind of
is giving kind of permission or giving them an idea that it's actually going to help somehow.
Yeah, it kind of validates their not eating.
Yeah, but is it a good strategy for weight loss for women?
I should be asking you that.
Yeah.
Because you probably know more than me. So is it?
Well, interesting. We did an episode on intermittent fasting, I think back episode 28. And we kind of looked at the kind of overview of it. Most of the studies, pretty much all of the studies are in men. And
oh, really?
Yeah. So it's actually much different for men and women because you think, we're, hunters and gatherers, like our ancestors. If the man was out hunting and there was no food and they were
in like hunting mode, like crouched behind a rock with their
bow and arrow or
whatever weapon of the day was and waiting.
Yeah. And then so that propelled them, drove them to hunt and it helped the metabolism. It like prompted them into action. Where
the being hungry part, you mean?
Being hungry, scarcity. Yeah. And for women, back at the village, keeping the home fires going, they're thinking, oh, I guess like their body just slows down because it's scarcity mindset. Well, it's scarcity. There's no food coming in. They don't know when the next meal, like the meat, will be coming. So their metabolism actually slows down and stores fat really well.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And, our body, especially women's metabolic and hormonal systems with the thyroid and adrenal and endocrine systems need stability, consistency, regularity, and routine.
Okay.
Like our adrenal glands want us all to be like our grandmothers. We want very regular sleep, like getting, 7-8 hours every night, want regular meals, want consistency in our life. And that's how our bodies do better and our hormones don't fluctuate as much. And our metabolism just runs along and is operating normally.
Makes sense.
If we fast, then we're actually reducing our metabolic rate. And this is not good. And it actually makes us store more fat.
Interesting.
So intermittent fasting is harder for women, like on a woman's body, as there's a greater sensitivity to changes in how many calories we're eating and the energy balance.
You were saying most of the studies were done with men, though. Like, and a lot of the data and information we're getting about intermittent fasting is based on studies done on men.
That's right. There's so much hype on the media in like different podcasts and a lot of like longevity studies about intermittent fasting and how good it is for our health and our blood sugars and our blood cholesterols and our weight management. And it's mostly for men.
Yeah. The other thing too, I remember back in university, I took some courses where we had to do research and you're looking at different factors and comparing different things. And when you look at some of these studies and look at the results, they're comparing one thing to one other thing. So it's not real world. Like they'll do a study, say, and they'll say, okay, well, this group of people does intermittent fasting for 3 weeks and we'll see what the results are. This other group doesn't do intermittent fasting. Those are the only things they're comparing. They're not looking at, okay, what else is going on in these people's lives, or what was their diet? Are they sleeping well? Are they exercising? Are they, you know what I mean? Like they try to control some of those things, but in the real world, like reading an article that says, okay, intermittent fasting is going to do this, this, and this for you. So, okay, I'll start doing intermittent fasting and these are the things that I expect to happen to me. Well, you're not the lab rat. You're not the same. Like things aren't controlled in your world the way they are when they do these studies. And,
exactly. Yeah, I totally agree.
It's
That's
just so
true.
hard to compare and expect sort of the same thing to happen.
Yeah.
And like we're just saying here, this is a perfect example because it's all done on just men in a very controlled environment. And, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So what we see is many women skip both breakfast and lunch and they save up their calories until dinner. And the problem with this approach is that as I mentioned, the metabolic rate naturally peaks at noon and decreases after that.
Yeah, okay.
So the food that you eat at night is far more likely to be stored as excess fat compared to the food eaten earlier in the day.
Right.
And it's amazing when I work with clients and we start getting them to eat when they wake up and have 3 meals a day and 2 snacks. You know what? They start losing weight. They start losing weight like in a good way because they're eating more regularly. They're getting, the other thing about skipping breakfast is you lose an opportunity of high fiber, high protein, like getting some really good nutrients in earlier in the day.
Right.
So what happens when you start eating later in the day is your body craves different things and you start to eat, you kind of treat yourself. So you're probably not going to eat, oatmeal and that kind of thing, at 4 p.m.
No, not often. Not many people, I wouldn't think. That's a breakfast thing for most people.
Yeah. And it's just, intermittent fasting is definitely talking about the how and when, but also what you eat really does make a difference, like throughout the day. Like the quality of the diet really makes a difference. So, if you're eating a lot of ultra processed foods or fast foods, or, you're rushed, as people are so busy these days, that if you don't have time and you haven't meal prepped and you just say, I'm on an intermittent fasting diet, it's probably not going to benefit you, and you're probably going to gain weight.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want people to think twice about it. And if you're already struggling with weight, then maybe start eating breakfast.
Yeah. I think the intermittent fasting, kind of like you just explained, and I believe in our last episode we did on this, we were kind of suggesting the overnight fasting makes more sense, because then you're not missing any meals. You eat your dinner and then that's it. And then you have, 12 hours, 14 hours, whatever, until you eat your breakfast. So that's your fasting period, which makes sense to you because you're not trying to digest food while you're trying to sleep. So you're probably going to sleep better. And then you still get all the nutrients all day long that your body needs to function through the day in the waking hours. Yeah, so it's sort of the best of both worlds if you want to do the fasting thing.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we do fast every night if you think about it.
Yeah, overnight. That's right. And that's exactly what I think too. Like just, overnight, like maybe don't eat after dinner and then you go to sleep. And then when you wake up, you eat something.
Like a quick little thing. We realized this on episodes early on. I think it was a bit of a joke that we made, but you think of the foods that you eat at night. Like just make a quick list on your hand of the foods you're typically going to eat after, say, 7:00, after dinner.
Nacho chips.
Yep.
Popcorn.
Yep.
Peanuts.
Yep. They're going to be snack foods. Are you going to eat a salad?
No.
No. Are you going to eat oatmeal? No.
No.
Right?
True. That's a good way to put it.
You're going to eat things that are snacky and salty and maybe a big bowl of ice cream with chocolate sauce and like desserty things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what you're deleting, I guess, or not eating if you do the not eating after 6:00 thing. So that's not a horrible thing that you're, minimizing those foods.
Exactly.
Especially if you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
It's not the fasting that will lose the weight. It's the not eating after 6:00.
Yeah. And our body, if you're not eating until later in the day, it actually increases your cortisol level. So that's what the studies have shown is 50% increase in cortisol and then reduction in insulin sensitivity. So this actually could contribute to obesity and diabetes instead of the health benefits that people are saying that intermittent fasting can have. So, and another reason why you can't afford to skip meals for weight control, it's well known that yo-yo dieting and periodic starvation lower your overall metabolic rate over time. And I think I mentioned this at the start.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that results in a body that's so metabolically efficient, so very efficient metabolically, storing the fat, storing the calories, because not sure when the next meal is coming. It's possible to remain at the same weight despite a very low calorie diet. So if you're barely eating, and that's a lot of what's happening are these people are coming to me and they're not eating much at all, but they don't start eating in the morning, like they're eating later in the day. And so they're not getting the nutrition their body needs either. So they're probably not getting the fiber, definitely not the fiber, because we need to get, 25 grams, 30 grams of fiber. It's really hard to do if you don't eat 3 meals. Especially
breakfast, because you get a lot of your fiber at breakfast just through the choice of foods that you're eating at breakfast time.
That's right.
Typical breakfast foods, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's really important that if you have been skipping breakfast and, you're not a breakfast eater, you're not a morning person, this is what I hear people say, maybe just try and start to stop eating after dinner and eat earlier in the day, because your body's probably used to not eating breakfast and that's why you can't.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is a good opportunity to kind of kickstart your metabolism and get your body working better for you.
Yeah. We all know those people too that eat everything all the time and they're not overweight. Like you're envious of them. They're like, how can you eat all the time and not gain weight? And maybe they know something, maybe eating a lot of food, well, not a lot of food, not an overabundance of food, but, eating regularly every day, 3 or 4 times a day is maybe better than not eating. Maybe there's
something to that.
There's something to that, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And also just the quality of our food, right? In terms of just if we're breaking our food down with our teeth, we're like the structure makes a difference. Like if you compare, a handful of peanuts or a handful of almonds, like some nut that you have to chew and break down, that 100 calories of that is different than a slice of pizza that's like a small slice of pizza that's 100 calories because the structure is different and there's tons of fat calories in there that's like the saturated fats, and it's the high glycemic index dough for the pizza crust. And you just think of that quality of food compared to nuts that you're breaking down and chewing and taking energy to actually eat, that there's a difference there. And the same with salads and like lots of, veggie tray. If you have like the carrots and the celery and the peppers, like all that takes energy to actually chew and swallow. And there's been studies about the actual structure of plant foods, and eating those is really good for us because we have to break them down by chewing them. And so that actually takes effort, and it's really good because it makes you're getting better quality food.
Yeah, exactly. That makes a lot of sense.
Like there's even a difference if you blend it up. Say you had steamed broccoli, blended it up and put it into pasta sauce versus having roasted broccoli. Like it's actually better to have the roasted broccoli.
Oh, because
you're chewing it.
Right.
You're breaking it down rather than like getting, it processed by something else.
Oh yeah, exactly.
If we're breaking it down in our mouth with our chewing, it's actually beneficial for our whole system. It's way better than having it broken down already.
Right.
Not that I'm not saying that, you shouldn't have smoothies or other foods that you can drink. It's fine, but just don't rely on that as something that you do all the time for your nutrition, if you can help it.
That makes sense. Yeah, good explanation.
So what should people do then?
I don't know. Eat breakfast, I guess. If you wanted, I think where we started with this is kind of explaining how, the new trend of intermittent fasting is giving people an excuse not to eat breakfast, right? Because they think, oh, the less I eat, the better. I'll lose weight. And there's this intermittent fasting thing that's telling me it's okay. I should have these huge gaps between when I'm eating. And some of them are even like, I'm not going to eat for 48 hours, which, I mean, I don't know. It just is common sense dictates otherwise. But anyway, that's a whole other episode. But yeah, you can still do the intermittent fasting if that's something that's of interest to you, and there are benefits to it. But
overnight,
yeah, do it overnight.
Yeah,
stop eating at night instead of not eating in the morning.
Exactly.
The food you eat at night. The food you eat in the morning is a lot better for you than the food you're going to eat at night.
On a typical general basis, that's for sure. I totally agree with that.
Yeah. So it's better to stop eating after dinner.
Yeah.
And then eat your breakfast.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Rather than eating till midnight with all the junk that you're going to eat at nighttime and then skipping breakfast.
Yeah.
That's no bueno.
That's good. I like that how you
well, they're both say 12 hours, 14 hours. So you're getting the same fasting time, but what you're going to eat, it shifts the window it shifts your eating window. So yeah, you're skipping breakfast, but you're eating junk at night.
Yeah, definitely.
And like we said, it's going to affect your sleep too. Anytime I've eaten, and this is not just me, this is a fact that we've discussed. And drinking at night is going to affect how you sleep. And then that, obviously has impacts on your next day and or your overall health. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That doesn't help the adrenal gland either for women because, as I mentioned before, it wants to be like a grandma, like having everything very consistent, good sleep, eating, 3 squares, the meals and snacks. So definitely, I mean, I think you could probably help your overall health with getting better nutrition if you don't skip meals and you start eating breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or at least eating earlier in the day.
That too. Yeah. All right.
I have this, can I say something, sir?
Can you say, yeah, we got some time. You can say something else.
This is Leslie Beck. She's
Canadian dietitian, isn't she?
Yeah, Leslie Beck, dietitian in Canada. Yeah, she's written so many different books and they're excellent. One is in one of the books, it talks about 14 famous weight loss blunders. And this is so true from what I see in clinical practice. So number 1, not exercising regularly. 2, going on a binge the week before going on a diet. Number 3, fasting to lose weight. Number 4, skipping meals in an effort to save up calories for the next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then having an on a diet or off a diet mentality rather than eating moderately and carefully all the time.
Yeah. Some good tips.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's kind of just the same thing being repeated over and over again.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think so?
Kinda, but I mean, it's fun to try new things. And I think that's part of the problem is people get all like caught up in this new thing, this new fad. And so, these people are doing really well. Oh, I want that. I want that for me. I want to try that. And it's kind of like the snake oil, you know?
Yeah. And it seems like people just like a lot of people are trying to lose weight and they just don't know, like, and especially if you've been on yo-yo diets, like if you're trying different diets all the time and they're not working, then yeah, intermittent fasting seems like it's kind of a low-hanging fruit, like an easy way to diet because it's like, well, I don't feel like eating breakfast anyways. I never wake up hungry. But I think we talked about in another episode, why don't you wake up hungry? Because you're eating late at night, maybe.
Yeah.
And then your body's storing the calories and you're not feeding yourself regularly. So again, your body stores the fat. It affects your metabolic rate. So it's kind of just this, it's a definitely a roller coaster and a yo-yo effect.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not, that in itself is really not good for your overall health for the long term.
No, the up and down and back and forth and all over the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Consistency, regularity.
Yeah. This is the basics, right?
Yeah.
Sticking to the basics and getting some exercise and good sleep and yeah.
Stability and routine.
Yeah. You're not going to lose weight overnight doing that, which is maybe one of the attractions of some of these fad diets too, is people want the quick fix instead of just, saving your pennies instead of hoping to win the lottery.
Right. And I mean, 2 pounds a week is, you don't want to lose more than that.
Not 10 pounds overnight, like that magic pill suggests.
It's kind of the
and
water
do this
weight,
one
right?
thing before you go to bed every night. And yeah. Anyway, here we are ranting again. There's so much we could talk about.
I know.
And I guess it's a good thing we have a podcast.
That's right.
It's probably why we have a podcast.
Yeah. I got to be in my bonnet and I'm like, okay, we have to record. Let's do it.
Turn the microphone on. I'm following Sandra around, chasing her with his microphone, going, okay, say that again. What was that?
It's just when I see it I see it repeatedly over and over and over and over again with so many clients. And it's the same thing that's happening. And intermittent fasting is not an excuse to not eat breakfast because it's not working. If you're coming to me, if you need help because you can't lose weight, it's not working. Your body is slowing down. Your metabolic rate is slowing down because it thinks it's starving and it's in scarcity mindset. So yeah.
No, thanks for sharing your expertise with us. It's nice to be able to talk to you about these things that we all hear about, but to talk to someone who actually has experience, real world experience, not just research lab experience, but real world experience with real people who are dealing with these issues and how it works or how it doesn't work. And
you see what works.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, this is valuable to be able to put this information out there. So yeah, let's be able to pick your brain every week and have you rant or however it comes out. It's all good. It's valuable information for people. So Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thanks for that talk.
Oh, no problem. I'm here for you. I'm your ear. Awesome.
And your mic.
And your mic, yeah. Exactly. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. I hope that was some valuable information for you as well. We've got lots of information on our website. If you haven't been there, it's mywifethedietitian.com. We've got new things being added there all the time. If you've already been, then go check it out again. There's probably some new things there. If you have questions for us, comments, ideas for the show, that sort of thing, don't be afraid to reach out to us at mywifetherd@gmail.com. We are also on social media. We're on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. We've got a few different things popping up there from time to time. So check those out. Give us a like, thumbs up, however it works. You can also comment there too. You can usually message us through those platforms as well, if that's preferable to you. And don't forget to rate and review the show. That's always helpful for us. Every platform is a little different how you do it, but there's like a star system. You can actually write a review. They're often anonymous, or you can use an anonymous name. We're not judging you. We just want to know what you all think so we can keep doing what's working and getting rid of what's not working. So yeah, we will be back on Wednesday with Nutrition Nuggets. And we've got a whole bunch of new things coming up for the new year that we will be telling you about soon and looking forward to. But in the meantime, go have fun, enjoy the holiday season, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.
I'm not a morning person. I don't eat breakfast. I'm never hungry in the morning. I don't eat before noon. I've tried every diet under the sun. I'm intermittent fasting. Do any of these phrases resonate with you? Or have you been saying them to yourself, family, or friends for years as you continue with restricting your diet, eating less, and wondering why you don't lose weight? Is intermittent fasting a good strategy for weight loss? Maybe if you're a man, but probably not if you're a woman. Tune in to hear the differences between men and women when it comes to intermittent fasting.